This show contains adult content. Sounds Like Crows is brought to you by Aaron Blackston, Ariel Weiss, Greg Gray, Jared, Suzanne Hagen, and all of our other patrons at patreon.com/Sounds Like Crows. Savage Worlds and Deadlands Reloaded are owned by the Pinnacle Entertainment Group. All music on the show is performed by Rudy Zuniga, Levi Rojas, or William Cartwright. With all that out of the way, welcome back to the Weird West. We open on a thumb pulling up the edges of two cards on a green felt poker table. As the man lets them flop down to the table, we cut to his face, and we see an older Malachi. He's got a scrappy arrangement of facial hair that I would hesitate to call a beard, and above that he's wearing a newly tailored, or whatever the hat word, haberdashed bowler hat. Tweet at me if that's wrong. And then below that he's wearing a short sleeve white shirt with pit stains, blue suspenders running under a light brown rough cowhide vest down to some green slacks. He taps some fingers on the felt and then grabs a stack of chips, gently and precisely places them in the center of the table, and mumbles call. As the gameplay passes to the left, we get these quick shots of people putting in chips, shots of reactions of people losing hands or banging on the table, people yelling. We cut between these shots to just shots of Mao sitting there, blank and expressionless, every hand getting dealt two cards, peeking at the edges, putting them back down, putting in some chips. Cut to like a side shot of the table where we can see him in profile along with the rest of the table, and someone's telling someone to call their bluff, and Mal is sitting there expressionless and unmoving except for his left leg violently bobbing up and down underneath the table. He sort of looks up from the table to the door, and he sees someone he hasn't seen in quite a while. What does like a 20-ish-year-old Hiram Crow look like, Doug?
I think at this stage, Hiram is still pretty well put together. His clothes are certainly nicer than they were the last time. Nothing fancy, but not old, not ratty, not dirty. Relatively well kempt, probably bathes at least semi-regularly. He's got more full facial hair than he did before. I think it used to be Hiram looked like Mal. You know, Mal has the patchy beard now, but Hiram's finally started to grow in, but it's clipped shorter, somewhat neat, and maybe filled in with 5 o'clock shadow, but probably close to his prime, if not in his prime. Like he's almost there. Dressed in darker tones, with some brown on his belt. What do you think one other distinguishing feature would be? I don't know if he'd wear, you'd mentioned a bandana. I don't think that's bad. I always refer to the term peacocking. Like, somebody always wears like one thing. Like, this is my thing. Like, this is my fedora, or this is my...
Partial to bolo ties.
Yeah.
Make it something like a crazy icon, you know, almost like a Game of Thrones-esque sigil.
Yeah, let's do a bolo tie. My first thought initially was skull, which is the most... rudimentary, straightforward, but perhaps appropriate for a 20-year-old who thinks he's hot shit. But I think it's a little too on the nose and a little too overt, and that's not quite what Hiram's is. Maybe his is like a coyote or a fox, like a head, like a laughing coyote or a laughing...
I like the coyote, to be honest.
That seems appropriate.
So Hiram's got
as a trickster,
a coyote bolo tie, maybe with like dyed white leather going down in cords to like gold at the bottom. The bolo piece itself is like a light wood, like ash or something.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. I'd also like to put in that I know that anyone who actually lives in that area would probably say coyote. So I think Hiram would say coyote.
He looks up, and what's the expression he sees on Hiram's face when he locks eyes with him?
It's positive overall. He gives him a smile. It's not too over the top. It's like a respectful, it's good to see you.
We cut back to Mal's face, whose slight grin, he can't help but turn it into a huge smile. And someone across the table yells at him, and we don't see their face. They say, "Hey, it's 20 to you." And without looking back to the table, he just pushes his cards out and then stands up. And you see him take a step, Hiram, with his right leg. And when he does so, he like immediately winces in pain, and like his knee almost buckles for a second before he like catches himself with his left leg And he looks up to you to see what sort of reaction you've had to that. And then he like turns around, grabs his chair, leans down, and grabs a cane that was laying on the ground behind his chair. And then turns around and walks towards you using this cane for help with his ambulation, which is obviously painful for him.
Did Hiram know that Mal was wounded prior to seeing him here?
No.
Okay.
No, you did not.
I think the first expression Mal would see is surprise and worry, which could be interpreted as concern. But as he ambles over with the cane, Hiram's expression is already back to happy to see you. He's smiling at him and gets closer. Hiram moves to meet him and gives him a big hug.
Cool. He kind of holds himself up with the cane in one hand and gives you just a one-armed hug, as you lean in. As you pull back, he's got a genuine smile on his face and says, "Hiram Crow, it has been a long time."
Hiram goes in for the hug and hugs him very fully. I mean, both arms around the back, and I think as he pulls back and they're standing relatively close, Hiram's hands more slide their way back. There's a bit of a linger as he steps back and his hand goes up to Malachi's, the side of his face, and gives it a soft pat, and he says, "Malachi, it's good to see you, soldier boy."
His face goes a bit red when he looks up and down you. "Not anymore. Got honorably discharged," is what they call it. He kind of like knocks his leg with his cane. "But you seem fine. You seem in good shape." He kind of like reaches out and like grabs one of your arms and kind of like jostles it a bit and then pulls it back with a smile.
He smiles at that and brushes off his arm in a nonchalant way and says, "Well, it ain't for lack of trying, I can tell you that much. But, Mal, you still got plenty of fire in you, I can tell. You left a soldier boy and came back a soldier man. Look at you."
He like smiles kind of pridefully, and he's obviously lost in his own thoughts for a second, and then he kind of shakes his head and the smile like goes into like surprise or something, and he goes, "Oh, do you want to grab a drink or something?"
"I would love that. Yeah, let's catch up."
He points over to the bar in the Rusty Spittoon. There's only about 7 people in this whole saloon. The top story is occupied entirely by in-use rooms, and on this bottom level here, only one poker table happening, no music being played, and there's a bartender sort of lonesomely wiping down the bar as one person sits there sipping on a whiskey and reading a book. Mal walks slowly under the aid of his cane over to the bar and scoots out a bar stool, hops on it, and then kind of scoots it back in with a screeching sound. As Hiram jumps up on the bar beside him, bartender's already coming up. Mal orders a couple drinks and then sort of taps his fingers on the bar anxiously in silence as you guys wait for the drinks for a moment. And then he turns to you. "Well, Hiram, what have you been doing since, last time we talked?"
"Well, you know me, Mal. I'm a man of habit, if nothing else. So, much the same, trying to keep my nose clean, stay busy, get some work done, get my name out there. Just living life, trying to get by. Same as anyone, I suppose."
"Yeah, that's good. Have you found anything you think you might settle down and do?"
"Well, sort of the trouble, isn't it? I ain't never been much of the settling type. Always on the move, always on the road. Plenty to see and do, but I am always looking for new opportunities. Something new around the corner,
Yeah, I guess that's one thing we don't have in common is the inkling to settle down. And he grabs the whiskey that's been poured for him, just laid in front of him, pushes yours towards you. And then as you pick yours up, he clinks it without making eye contact and downs it with a bit of a catch in his throat and then puts it down on the counter.
Hiram picks up on that a little bit and then says, "Well, things always change and I'm looking for a change of pace. Maybe it's time, who knows. But one step at a time,
Yeah, one step at a time. I'm gambling now. Since I don't know what else to do. There's not much honest work to be had, and I'm not going to get in the business of shooting people. Idly plays with his glass, obviously uncomfortable, twisting it around in his hand. Hiram, why are you here? I mean, last time we talked, I told you where I was at, and, we don't want the same things. It doesn't end well for me. So, I appreciate seeing you, but I'm not sure why. Lonely? Miss Meadow? He kind of curls up his lips at that. Like you said, I think we both should just try to move on from, and he kind of motions towards both of you.
Mal, I think I'd be lying to you if I said I knew exactly why I was here, and neither. I always had trouble with the idea of, settling down, and, I was on the move, and, it's been a couple of years, trying to figure things out, and, well, maybe things I'm doing on my own aren't working out too well either, and, I always think back, and, you were always there by me, and that always meant a lot, and, well.
Kind of nods with a fake smile as you're talking. The bartender comes over. He sort of silently asks for a couple beers. The bartender heads off again. You still got that book?
I think there's a small creeping smile that makes its way onto Hiram's face, and he looks over and gives a small incline of his head. I still got it. Why? You want to take a look?
Actually, yeah, that would be nice. There's just... And he kind of leans in. There's nobody else, Hiram. Nobody else that I've fucking ever met in my life and knows anything about it, and those that do are too afraid to talk about it, or, you hear them rambling as they get hung, and kind of looks around, and then looks back to you, actually meeting your gaze for the first time in the last bit, and says, you and I can both do things that nobody, or most people can't do, and I've had nobody to talk about that the whole goddamn time I was in the army, and since I've gotten out, it's just half the reason I got into gambling. And he motions towards the poker table that's still going. He's trying to meet anybody that does, knows anything about this, and nobody does. So, I don't know. I just miss talking about it, it's all. And the bartender drops off a couple beers. Mal smiles, scoops one up, and takes a sip.
I think Hiram's nodding along with that as Mal's saying it, and he's quiet for a couple of moments as they sit there and take sips in the somewhat uncomfortable silence. Well, Mal, I miss it too. I ain't just that I miss. I just miss having you around. Just hanging out and having good times, and I can't imagine how hard things must be for you right now. Going off seeing things you must have seen, and knowing the things we know, and just feeling alone. I get that. But maybe there is something on the other side for both of us. More ways than one.
Hiram, if this is one of your dumb schemes again, I'm not sure I can... How many times we almost got killed together since we stole that book? Just doing dumb things. And where did it end up, either of us?
Well, right here, I suppose. We're both alive. Your book didn't shoot you in the leg.
He kind of scoffs with a smile and sips.
Mal, I think you're justified in just about everything you said there. I know I got my own problems, and we got up to some trouble, sure, but, we had a lot of good times too, and sometimes you just gotta take a chance. What you just said it yourself, there ain't a lot of honest work for folk like us around here, especially. You're gonna keep gambling, you're trying to meet somebody who knows things like we do. Well, I think I know what direction we gotta move in. It ain't a scheme, it's could be a job, could be for you, could be something new, could be another chance, maybe, I don't know.
He swirls around the beer, the foam sticking to the edge of the dirty cup. Stop selling me on the idea. Just tell me what it is. Tell me what it is you want from me, and we both can get on.
There are things that I want, but can it just be you?
He looks up to you from his beer. Don't fuck with me, Hiram. You can't say no and drop me the way you dropped me and then come back and say that. I'm sorry, but you can't do that, Hiram. I can't fucking take that. And his eyes sort of like scrunch up. I mean, everything's just talk with you, Hiram. Every goddamn thing our whole lives. You're just a fucking drunk, Hiram. Drunk man's son. Who the fuck am I? Don't pretend like you care about me either, because you don't give a shit about anyone but that fucking woman that will never give you the fucking time of day. He like grabs his beer, shaking a little bit, and like wants to walk off, I think, but he looks down at his leg and then starts to down the beer, sort of lowers it with a shaky hand back to the bar counter.
Hiram turns his face away from Mal as Mal starts letting him have it in shame, or that's the appearance he's trying to put up, but maybe we get a shot of Hiram looking away from Mal and we see Hiram's face and it's just pinched and irritated and like, ugh. And then he purses his lips, starts to slowly turn back, but doesn't make eye contact. Yeah, just a son of a drunk. You know, they always say that war changes a man, but guess I never really knew how much.
Hiram, I didn't.
I think he starts to walk away. He stands up and starts to walk away from Mal.
Hiram, you fucking stop your goddamn legs. And he grabs his cane and starts to like amble after you. Hiram
will come to a halt. He'll slow his steps and maybe not turn around, but just do a small pivot over his shoulder.
There's a wide shot of these two figures stood in this bar. It's almost sundown outside, so there's like some light spilling in, hitting all the dust in the room, lighting up almost this walkway of light to Hiram and his shadow being cast on Mal behind him. The whole saloon stops and looks up, and there's this beat where we can see and feel the whole saloon listening to what these two men are talking about. I fucking loved you, Hiram. I love you. You know as well as anybody else that you should not fuck with someone in that particular way, and yet you choose to. I don't buy this bullshit fucking act you're bringing here back to me, because I know you never loved me. You don't give a shit about anyone. You don't even fucking give a shit about her. It's just how it pertains to you. And I am pertain to you.
I mean, he doesn't have really anywhere to go because everything Mal has just said is 100% true. So I think Hiram is just trying to figure out a way that he can refute it but still make it work. Mal has never had the proof to believe what Hiram tells him, and that's the problem. So I think this is a moment where the jig is up for Hiram, and the only way he's going to pull this off is to give him some proof. Hiram now fully turns to face Mal and worries at his lower lip and says, Mal, I ain't a perfect man. No one is. Just a stupid kid. I still am. I don't know. I didn't know what I want. Maybe I still don't completely, but you said I'm all talk, and I think you know that ain't true. And takes a couple of steps closer, puts a hand on his shoulder first, and gives it a light squeeze, maybe shakes him a little bit to close the gap, and he says, I just want a chance, Mal. Please.
Mal looks down, slumping his head into shadow, and then his head comes back up and like the lights shining on the left side of his face. He's got his right eye scrunched up. So he's looking up and down you, and we see him balling up his fists, and like he sort of opens his mouth for a minute and then closes it, and it seems like he's thinking about what he wants to say next.
This has not gone quite the way that Hiram imagined it would. This is a real curveball. Mal, he had the line about Mal being a soldier boy, coming back a soldier man, but I don't know that he actually believed it until he saw some spine there. So this needs to go well. Hiram needs this to work out, at least for now. So I think that means throwing caution to the wind, doing the unexpected. I think when he sees that Mal is hesitant and doesn't know what's going to happen next or gets that bad feeling like it's going to be bad news, I think he just moves in and kisses Mal on the mouth. Nothing too over the top, but just makes that intention clear.
As Hiram's lips touch Mal's, we get a shot of Mal's face as he melts into this embrace. A smile forms around his eyes, completely closed, head tilting backwards. And then we cut to his hand as he thoughtlessly lets the cane go, which clacks down to the floor with hollow excitement. And then we cut from that to Hiram's face. And there's nothing joyful about this to him. You know, his eyes are open, looking down at Mal, judging how long he should plant this kiss on him for. And then his eyes glance up towards the bartender, seemingly disinterested. As Hiram pulls back, we can see Mal's face lit up in this sunset pouring in through the front. A slight smile forms on his face before the table full of poker players behind you erupts in like cheers and claps of, yeah, get it, boys. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit of hazing for you guys doing some public display of affection in the middle of a fucking saloon. Mal shakes his head with a smile, looks down at the ground, and then looks up to you sort of from underneath his eyebrows with a smile. He straightens himself up and plants a hand on each of your shoulders with a genuine smile, sort of staring into your eyes one at a time, back and forth. Hiram, I didn't mean to say all that stuff about you and Meadow. You know, I know what she means to you, and I know you mean something to her too. And if we're gonna do this, I can't be thinking that you're just gonna be thinking about, you know, what could have been. Are you sure, Hiram? Are you sure that this is what you want? Because it has to be. And the smile sort of fades away from his face, and with every punctuation of his words, his head is bobbing up and down like he's pleading with you. Hiram, I just have to know that this is real. You can't give this to me and take it away from me. So if there is any doubt in your mind that this is not what you want, tell me, because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to take that. I thought about it for such a long time before I asked you, worrying about whether or not I was going to screw up what we had, and sure enough, I did screw up what we had. And if you just want to be friends, Hiram, we can do that. I swear to God we can do that, because I miss you. And I do want this, but I don't think you want this, Hiram. But God damn it, if you aren't a man of action. And he glances down at your lips and looks up to you with a smile.
Hiram's instinct is always to leave himself an out in any situation. You know, always to leave a back door, or to not fully commit to something, or to trick people into thinking he's committed when he really hasn't, to, you know, just pull the wool over their eyes. So Mal, just being so used to his bullshit and misdirection, I think is finally really caught up to him and bit him in the ass, and he did not expect that. You're all I want, Malachi. Hiram puts one hand on Mal's waist, and they stand there, and he pats the bicep of Mal's arm with his hand. It is what I want, and I think we could have a life, something different than what it's been before. And I have a plan. I got an idea, and I think it's gonna work, but I need your help.
I'm in. Whatever it is, whatever you need from me, I'm in.
I think that gets him just the biggest smile from Hiram. He pulls him in, this time in just a very happy hug bodily. You know, pulls him in, just clutching him, pats him on the back, puts one hand on his head, whispers in his ear, and says, "You ain't gonna regret this, Mal."
He laughs and steps back with his good leg. Yeah, we'll see about that. Here, pass me the cane. Let's go sit down.
See, Hiram tucks the toe of his boot under the cane and flicks it up into his hand, gives it a little twist, arches an eyebrow to Mal, and hands it over to him.
Mal grabs his cane back with a smile and lets out a light chuckle, and then says, "Buy me a drink, I'm gonna go get my money." And he starts to move slowly under assistance towards his the poker table to kind of get his money back.
And we get a quick shot of Hiram taking a step over to the bartender and holding up 4 fingers and orders 4 shots. And then while Mal is making his way back, just downs 3 of those shots very quickly and holds the 4th for Mal. And we just get this close-up of Hiram's face after he's finished the last one, just that yuck whiskey face, just very pinched and sour. We're right behind Hiram, and the shot is over the shoulder of Hiram looking into the mirror. So we see Hiram looking at himself in the mirror and Mal wandering around in the background, about to come up to the bar. And he says, "The things we do."
Old Boot starts to tie up this boat to some of the rocks that are in this small harbor. There is a very short climb you would have to do, 5 or 6 feet, to get up to this raised natural stone platform that separates land from the water here. There is a dilapidated old steel crane that hangs off the side of this small cliff, if you'd even call it that. And then down here in the water, there's sort of the crumbling remains of a few other ships that are sort of poking out of the water, along with some rocks, almost breakers down here. If you look further above, if your eyesight can take you that far, there are some old rusted pipes that run along the ceiling here, which is about 15 feet up. It looks like a cave that's been expanded with gunpowder and elbow grease. And I think that's all you can see from your current vantage point. But the camera cuts above and we can see the boat hanging out in this small dock area. And above it is sort of this old area that looks like cargo was once brought in by ships and stored here before it went further up in the complex. Old Boot produces a few climbing ropes along with some, I don't know, do you think he would have like a grappling hook, or do you think it would be a...
Do you think he has a grappling hook?
Yeah, I do.
He has a grappling hook.
I really do.
Case of guns just hiding out. He's got a grappling.
Old Boot starts by pulling out a grappling hook from the like a smuggler's compartment on this ship, and expertly, presumably, let's give it a shot, expertly throws it up to the top of the cliff face. He tugs on it a few times, and we cut to the spike digging itself into the hard-packed earth, and he lets it hang there as he starts to knock on various steel compartments around the boat and starts to sling an arsenal over himself.
Lucky intercepts Harper during all of this. Hey, how you doing, man?
I think he just kind of stares. He makes eye contact with Lucky and just, shrugs. What do you say?
I know you still got your guns on you. You're planning on coming?
I gotta at least finish what she was gonna finish, Lucky.
You don't have to come, Harp.
I owe her that much. She wouldn't be here without us.
She made her decision to come.
I know she did. And he just kind of glances back. But she wouldn't be like that. I gotta finish what she was doing, Lucky.
It's your call, Harp.
We gotta save those girls.
Lucky nods silently.
Well, boys, let's get her going.
Yeah, all right.
Abel's standing right next to Boot as Boot straps that arsenal on and isn't much different. He's got that coat pulled up, but he takes a minute to sling a shotgun on a short strap over his shoulders, so it's kind of hanging at his waist on the left side. Is one of Ellis's old revolvers on the right hip. He takes a rifle in his hands and then thinks better, leans it against the wall, and ties a bandana around his face, mask style, before grabbing up the rifle again.
I think Ellis goes up to old Boot with that Bowie knife in his hand. Hey, thanks for letting me use this, Boot. Came in handy.
Sure thing there, Ellis. I guess it didn't come in too handy, huh? He looks over to Grace.
Ain't a knife on this planet that could save her from what happened.
I've seen people die all sorts of different ways here out in the Californias there, Ellis. And, man, I do have to say, pretty much the worst way one can go.
Did she drown, by the way? Is that how she died?
That's what it appears like, Lucky, yeah. Old Boot checks himself one more time, heads up over to the rope, and starts to climb.
Oh, he's coming with us?
I mean, you can, I was waiting for somebody to call him out on it, but yeah, he's coming with.
Well, I heard him put the arsenal on, and I was like, no,
I could do that right now. If he's doing that, I guess I could do it.
Do it.
Wait a minute, you're not coming with us, Boot. What are you doing?
You think I'm staying down here? You think that's the only one down there in the waters? If one of those things come back, I'm a dead meat. This boat's might as well be gone.
We don't even know what's in these walls, Boot. Could be anything up there.
I'd take anything with you, Jack, over myself against what's in those waters.
Fair enough.
No, wait. Not fair enough. What's our escape plan once we get done with all this?
Harper walks up. He reaches down into one of those open compartments, pulls out a bandolier, throws it over his shoulder, and looks over to Lucky and Boot. And an airship. That's how we're making it out of here.
Plus, Lucky, I mean, if there's no monsters in these here waters to come eat this boat, it'll be here one way or the other. All I'm saying is I'm not going to be any use protecting it.
Better to lose a boat than to lose Boot and a boat.
So we're just leaving this here? All of it?
We can't take it with us.
Old Boot climbs up to the top of the cliff, kind of stands with his hands on his hips and stands there confidently.
I don't know. I'd prefer the extra gun. It's a little soon, but we did lose one. Having more wouldn't be any worse. Besides, if we get this airship, it's not like we don't know how to get back here. We can bring Boot.
Boot, you're a grown-ass man. You can make a decision for yourself. But make it quick, because we got to get going here.
Old Boot's coming with. But, I'll be in the back of the line.
Hey, now, Boot, I'm a bit taller than you, so
I'll be second to last.
I just don't want you to shoot me in the back. All right, we make that deal.
Oh, that is, I've shot plenty of people in the back, but I'd never shoot you in the back.
You know, oddly, that doesn't actually make me feel a whole lot better, Boot, but at least you said it. Thanks for that.
Let's head out. Mayhew grabs a shotgun as well and follows Old Boot up.
All right, that
Fucking
son of a bitch is
forgot
here.
you were even here.
Yeah, I literally was like, who the fuck was that?
Who the fuck was that voice?
You're just like watching this whole thing from like the corner.
Yeah. The Crow Boys climb up into this place. It's a twisting set of old caves. There are some old minecart rails that seem to run from down in this dock area further into the complex. You could either follow those or these old rusted pipes that are running on the roof that also must head somewhere. It smells of mildew and death in here. That's the kind of place where you feel like everywhere you look, there'd be a rat in the corner. Ellis can probably pick out some animal droppings in here from whatever critters call this place home, and you can hear some bats flapping their wings further within the caves. All you come up, you're all equipped. Old Boot has 2 lanterns on him. Mayhew scoops one up as he's lighting it and pushes forward ahead of the group. He moves the lantern around these stone walls, and it's like one of those areas where you can see the different strips of rock in the earth, you know, the different kinds of stone that are here, going from gray to like a lightish red. Mayhew sort of absent-mindedly talks as he leads the group, following a set of minecart rails. They used this place when they were setting up shop. They brought in all the supplies to build this place. All the ghost steel and everything else they have, all the equipment came through here. After they were done, well, I don't really know. But I think if we follow these carts, we should be able to find our way up.
With shit like that in the water, why the fuck would they take this way?
Well, she put that there.
She put that there? She can make shit like that?
Y'all remember Morbo on the boat, don't you?
I do.
You're not fucking telling me she made that.
What are we getting ourselves into here?
He shakes his head and keeps on walking. Who's following behind Mayhew? Who's the first 2 people behind him?
Non Thaddeus.
Abel's definitely close to the front, either at the front, like flanking Mayhew, or like half a step behind him.
As you're walking, Ellis, Way is walking besides you and he seems tense and agitated. Baby, it might be hard for a lot of people to kill you and I, but these things that are in here, they'll know how to kill someone like us.
I mean, they didn't do such a good job out there, did they?
That was something else.
I hear what you're saying, though. I'm not too happy about this either. Keep an eye out, will you? Tell me if you see anything.
He nods and keeps walking ahead. Let's have Abel make a notice roll and one other crow make a notice roll.
I'll do it because I failed earlier.
No, I want to do the notice.
It's at -2 because of the lighting. Oof. I rolled a 3.
I got a 2. I failed. I'm sorry. I should have let you do it, Hart.
Somebody hit me with that D6.
Blows up a 6 for Abel.
All right. Good old loaded dice.
You got a 7.
Well, even with a -2 to a 5, Abel, your aging yet still keen eyes notice like a humanoid figure kind of dash between 2 of these old pillars that once held up some sort of machinery to move cargo.
In a flash, Abel's hand snakes out and grasps Mayhew on the shoulder. freezing him in place. He holds the Winchester in his left hand and leans in close. I just saw something up ahead.
We should try not to fire at it if possible.
Why is that?
A lot of things are down here from what I've told. The things they can't control.
And if we just leave it alone, nothing happens?
You're asking the wrong guy. All the ones I ever dealt with are ones that they could control. Ones they handed off for us to use.
Things they can't control? When the fuck were you gonna mention that? How about no more fucking surprises?
This ain't getting us anywhere. We gotta move.
Yeah, all right, Abel.
Yeah.
You just keep an eye out and point them out to me. And Thaddeus will sort of hoist his spear up a little bit and grip it a little tighter. We'll see about making sure no shots are fired.
Abel raises an eyebrow above the mask at Thaddeus. If that's the way you want to do it, little brother.
Shut the fuck up, Abel. Little brother, I can't believe this shit. You just
Can it?
What do you think? Should we go for it?
If we ain't gotta fight it, then let's not fight it.
I wasn't talking to you.
Baby, we could check it out, surely. Let's get on the roof.
Ellis, come on.
You look around, Ellis, and it seems that in order to support what they carved out in here, there are some pretty large steel pillars that run from the ground that are bolted in up to the top. They're rusted and old, but...
How high is the roof here?
I think we said 20 feet.
Okay, that won't take too much damage if I jump from there then, probably, right?
Right, yeah.
I'm gonna scout it out, boys. All right, I got a success, no raise for spider climb.
Great. Let's just see a stealth roll then. Let's do it a +2 for you because of the lighting.
If you guys just want to keep moving, that's fine too, honestly. Like, I just pictured,
I was
you
gonna
guys start
say that.
moving, and then Ellis kind of like looks up to the ceiling, and then just starts skittering up. Got a 5.
Even though this chamber is sort of one large cave, there's lots of areas where it narrows to almost nothing. It's almost like an ant colony or something, if you've ever seen casts of those, where it gets really thin at some areas and then bulbs back out. So as you walk through, you know, there are lots of areas that are hidden from view, and every once in a while you get these views of the whole area, or at least what you can see in the covered darkness. Ellis, you shimmy up one of these things quickly up to the top, this cold stone roof, and look down. Man, it's got to look completely unnatural, right? To be climbing like this. Like, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Are you like Spider-Man? Are you
No,
like?
I think it's
what do you look like?
more someone possessed.
So your head turns all the way backwards.
No, just like
crab walking.
not crab. No, just like unnaturally crawling up the side of the wall. So it's not like Spider-Man where he's just like, you know,
Not as
he's
graceful
it's
as
he's
Spider-Man.
graceful. It's like a
It's like a ferocious
Like
Spider-Man.
a nightmare creature.
yeah, like a nightmare creature, like skitters up the wall.
Cool. So you get to the top, and I don't think we see Weichuge as you're climbing, but once you're up there and start to survey the scene, he's standing upside down casually on the roof. And let's make a notice roll to try to see what Abel saw.
Oh no, what's the negatives?
-2, and you're trying to beat a 3.
Yeah, let's see what we found.
I got a 9.
Wow. You see like a person-sized thing hiding behind a rock, and like they quickly move crouched between rocks, like following the party as they walk with this dim lantern below you. As you're taking that in, Weichuge says, "Baby, I'd be careful. There's more than whatever that thing is in here.
It's not attacking anybody. What's it doing?
I don't know. I don't think it's one of mine. I think it's one of yours."
It's Grace.
Grace is back. She's
Yeah,
fine.
she's Kara.
She's fine.
It's no big deal.
What should we do then? Just keep following the group, or should we try and take this thing down before it has a chance to get help?
Maybe if they start screaming those other things in here, they're gonna come fast. And he looks to his right, and you follow his gaze, and you can't see anything. It's like he's just looking at this far wall that's, like 100 feet away from you or something. And you don't see anything, but you feel something. It's just a terrible sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach, like you're standing, not for you, but for most folks when they would stand at the edge of something tall, just this sense of dread. And then you look back down towards the thing following your brothers.
Well, I guess we just follow it as it follows them. If anything goes wrong, we'll intervene.
You follow on the roof, Ellis, and we cut down to the floor as Mayhew leads with the lantern. He lowers the wick to its smallest surface area, just reducing the total light shown out. It's a hooded lantern, so it's just exiting in a cone in front of the brothers, and occasionally he'll sweep it to survey the scene. A couple times, him and some of you trip over loose rocks or old machinery long since abandoned on the bottom of the cave here. And then finally, I think, I'm going to roll a d6. Harper, you find yourself tripping over something soft on the ground here.
Oof. Does he eat it like all the way down to the ground, or does he just kind of like stumble over it?
Let's make an athletics roll, because I think it matters. -2.
That's never good.
That's an 8 with a raise.
So then, no, you just like trip and then catch yourself. And you look behind and you can smell it. Just smells like death and decay. The lantern is in front of you, so you can't see what it is, but it's just a shape, like a couple sacks of potatoes thrown together.
Harper just says, "Mayhew on me."
Mayhew flips his lantern around, and you are face to face with a rotting, torn apart corpse.
Dead though, right?
Dead.
Not moving.
Let's make a guts roll.
+4.
Well, it's a -4 in this area, but you're fine.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, it looks ripped apart by something big. Its rib cage is like totally torn apart. It's like a spatchcocked chicken, except a human corpse.
Ooh. I think he just silently looks up to the group and, loads that rifle and just kind of raises it, readies it to his shoulder, and starts to move off.
Look, he pulls Lady out to the ready. I think we should keep our eyes open, but I'm sure Ellis is watching us, so...
As you're bringing up the rear, Thaddeus, the light pulls away from the corpse. And as the light pulls away, it's probably just a trick of the eyes. You know when something's real dark or you close your eyes and there's almost that static effect across your eyes that sort of tricks you into thinking that things are moving that aren't? That's the sort of feeling you get when you look at the body, like ants are crawling all over the thing.
Thaddeus will see this, and even in the dark light, we can sort of see him visibly shudder a bit before he shakes his head and pushes on through.
You stop with Mayhew's guidance at there's like a set of steel beams that runs up the side of this place. Way up above, as Ellis follows, we cut up to him, and we can see there's like a large pair of wooden barn doors up here, covering a large opening that's like 20 feet by 20 feet, like a hatch leading further up. You can see these steel beams running from it down to the ground where your brothers are, like a vertical rail line. And at the bottom, we can see some cut cord that maybe once held a mechanical lift of some kind, and then the ruined remains of the transportation system that once led things from here deeper into the fortress. End of the line.
Is that quick?
Yeah, it hasn't taken you very long. I mean, it's probably been maybe 5 minutes total, something like that. Ellis, the figure that's been following them, is still watching them, and they're now like fully behind the group, kind of between where y'all came from and where they are now. You can deal with that, or you can try to deal with these doors that are up here, or we can cut down to the ground with everybody.
Yeah, are the doors open currently?
They're not, no.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I'll go up to the doors, see if I can hear anything on the other side initially. Start there, maybe?
Let's do a notice roll.
Oh boy, it's a failure right there.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. They're sort of heavy wooden things. Yeah, you put your ear against it and nothing. This would be a material you could ghost through if you wanted.
I think instead I'd like to convey this information to my brothers at this point. So maybe I'll crawl back down the wall head first and then converge with my brothers in Mayhew and Boot.
We get this tracking shot, like following Gollum down the side of a rock face, sort of the camera twisting 360 degrees, really showing off the vertigo as Ellis touches down to the ground. And the shots in this scene are shot like a spy movie, like telescopic lenses far away zoomed in on the brothers, like somebody's watching them.
Yeah, well, hell, there's nothing down here. There ain't no more tunnels leading up. leading out. This must have been, I don't know, some sort of staging and, storage before they took him up into the base.
Well, this is definitely a crane or a lift. Remember, like, back on Inclination?
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. These are the cables. It's like those rail lines that are heading up. Bet you there's doors up there.
Oh, yeah, there's doors up there.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, I was just about to ask you. What, y'all didn't hear him coming up?
Keep it down. There's, not just one of those things in this cave.
One of those.
What are you talking about?
The thing Abel saw, he wasn't wrong.
Well, you see it? What was it?
It's like a man.
Like a man, or is it a man?
Like a man.
Ah,
And he's
shit.
not alone down here either. He's just watching us. I don't know what he's doing.
Well, the sooner we get out of here, the better, so...
I checked out the doors, couldn't hear anything on the other side, but, I mean, it's like straight up. I don't know how we're gonna get up there.
Well, looks like there are a few of these cables still hanging. Maybe we can climb those.
Hey, Mayhew,
Yeah.
do you know anything about this chute?
Not really, no. What do you want to know?
Does it just go all the way to the top, or does it stop along the way?
I've never been down this far in the complex, but I think it stops on the bottom floor.
Well, that gets us in at least, right?
Yeah,
We're not concerned about this like a man following us. This like a man could be a man. Could tell the hires up.
yeah, but there's a lot of them down here. We start shooting, they're all gonna attack. It's a fucking powder keg.
He said they were rejects. They probably in the mood to be helping her. Let's just keep moving.
Yeah, as soon as we get on the other side of those doors, it ain't gonna matter, Lucky.
Well, shit, I'm not going to climb this. We got to figure out a way.
I don't know if there is another way.
No, I think we gotta. Well, Ellis, do you think you can climb back up there and help us out?
Yeah, I can check it out. Just wanted to let you guys know what's going on.
Yeah, you said there were doors, right? We probably don't want to open those by ourselves. So get us all up there or something. Is there space? Nah, it doesn't matter. You get up there and we'll start climbing, I suppose, right?
Well, shit. We got that grappling hook still?
No. Caleb, you said that there were, like, vertical railroad tracks, right?
Yeah.
We could climb these, and Harper walks over and kind of gestures towards those tracks that are running up the steel beams.
I think they don't have ties in the same way that railroad things do, but there are definitely like little bolts holding, or not bolts, almost like staples would be the best way to describe it, like holding them into the side maybe.
But would they be an easier climb than just like a straight up cable?
Yeah, definitely. It wouldn't be that unreasonable. It'd be more about managing your fear climbing it.
Great.
How tall is this?
We don't know
20
yet.
feet, maybe?
Yeah, 20 feet, 20 feet.
No, I
To the
mean
doors.
the chute.
Oh,
we don't
like
know
past the
about that.
doors?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll check it out first. How's that? I mean, I don't know what else to do here.
Yeah, I mean, go in there, see if you can... So this is just an elevator shaft, right?
Yeah,
Except
mhm.
the roof
Yeah.
opens?
Just
Yeah.
to take supplies to the
Right.
top. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to spider climb back up, and then I'm going to try and ghost to try and pass through the doors at the top.
Let's roll it.
All right, so this is going to be at -2 because I'm currently using spider, so all other trait rolls are at -2. 4 + 1 for my spirits. 5 - 2 is 3. I'd have to add another. I'm gonna have to. I could use I'll use a Benny on that. So I got a 6 + 1 for my spirit. So yeah, it's gonna be a 5. This is kind of weird interaction too, though. Ghosting while climbing, like I can't interact with the physical world. How do I climb on the wall?
So you do,
Ghost
like,
doesn't make
you-
sense,
you-
so stop trying to make
Yeah,
sense
the
of
answer
it,
is
dude.
don't think about it.
So we take a shot of the other side. The camera is sitting basically flush with the barn door as we see Ellis's dead, wet hand come through the surface, like it's coming out of the surface of a lake. Grabs on to the rock on the other side, and then you pull yourself through. After a few feet of climbing, you look around, and the shaft goes for another 20 feet before there's roof above it, and it seems like the shaft opens up into something bigger.
Oh, that's all that's in here?
Yeah,
Are there any branches in the shaft to the other floors or anything?
just the one.
So yeah, I'm gonna go back out, let everybody know. So I crawl back down from the wall again.
Yeah, so we just cut to Ellis gracefully jumping off the wall to the ground.
Looks like it's only about 20 feet up, boys.
Oh, shit, I can do that.
Well, that's a 40-foot climb, Lucky.
There weren't anybody around the doors, right?
Not that I saw.
We can tie lead ropes up there, can't we?
If we got time, I guess.
I mean, we got all this gear, we might as well use it.
The door's still closed, right? So we all have to get at least halfway up there to get it open.
Yeah.
And then we can worry about lead lines later.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention how that worked, Ellis. I think there's a bunch, all the mechanisms are hidden on the other side, a bunch of gears sort of going into sort of hidden mechanisms in the wall, but they just sort of have steel cables heading all the way to the top to sort of like a massive, like something you can open a gate with, you know?
Yeah, I gotcha.
So you could definitely go up there and open them. It just, who knows what's up there.
Oh, okay. In that case, I think I can open it from the inside.
Well, that's good news. You think it'll be quiet?
No,
Do we have another choice?
I don't think so.
not unless you guys can pass through walls.
No, we sure can.
I
Funny
think
guy,
that's
huh?
just you.
So I suppose get up there, give us a head start so that way we can at least get to the door. That way if anything does come chasing us, they got 20 feet of air to reach us.
All right.
As you say, all right, Ellis, Wei-Chuge is standing a few feet away from you, and he's looking in the direction of where that figure was hiding, and you hear him say, I think I lied.
What's wrong?
As you say that out loud, Ellis, you, along with the rest of the boys, can see the figure that's been following you slowly start to walk out from behind its hiding place and walk towards the group. Mayhew turns quickly on a heel, shining the lantern over there, and it looks to be a man about 5'10", dressed in ratty, ragged clothing, but you can barely make him out with the lighting. Mayhew extends the wick, turning a knob on the lantern, and then the figure becomes fully illuminated, and we can see his dead, rotting skin. End of episode.